Racing takes place down in the Western Cape on Wednesday for midweek racing action. Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. We are racing on the winter course. 9 races on the program, and race number 1 is at 12:20. Joining me on the line is Graham Hawkins. And Graham, how are you doing?
All good, thank you, Rahil. We record, as everybody knows, the Tuesday morning prior to race day. There's been a little bit of rain around, not much to speak of, but it's certainly got a lot cooler, and conditions tomorrow should be perfect to racing, but there is forecast a northwesterly wind, which helps him down the straight. So a bit of a tailwind down the straight at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. That's what's forecast, so it could speed things up a bit.
Race number 1 is the Work Riders event. It is leg number 2 of the Work Riders series over 1,000 meters. And we've got joint favorites at the time of recording. Numbers 4 and 8, both trading at 16-10. Mrs. Shackleton, who's at 16, starts in the maidens. She's at 3-1. It's 10-1 and better ball those. Now, Graham, both you and I believe that Elsinore could be the right horse here with Louis Burke in the irons.
Absolutely, Rahil. This is the Hollywoodbets Work Riders Series Leg 2. Leg 1, of course, went to Louis Burke and Justin Snaith with Rafa Bay. Did us a good turn that day at a pretty generous price, I thought, on that occasion. Less so this time with number 4, Elsinore, trading at around 16-10, as you've mentioned. Only had the 2 starts. The form of its last run when second to Shipendani hasn't really worked out, but you can't help but get the feeling that there's a little more to come, and with Louis Burke in the irons. Number 4, Elsinore, is my clear first choice. The market rival, number 8, Fencing Captain, what you see is what you get. He's had many chances to win. He's run a few good seconds in his career, but he may be found wanting in the closing stages, and I prefer Elsinore. The danger could be number 2, Mrs. Shackleton. Although a long-time maiden, the daughter of Captain of All, has done enough to suggest he could be competitive in what is quite a limited field here. These 3 stand out. It would be a huge surprise if anything else were to win. Quite interesting. 2 first-timers from the Justin Snaith yard, number 6, Fly Past, and number 9, Lassa Palace. And I can't ever recall Justin Snaith having equipped both with blinkers. That's a late declaration. Blinkers go on number 6, Fly Past. Blinkers go on number 9, Lassa Palace. Be interesting to see how that all works out. But pretty confident that number 4, Elsinore, can get us off to a winning start.
Yep, race 1, horse number 4. Moving along to race number 2, and this is where the exotics begin. It is a bipod that will get underway. 1,100 meters is the distance. 12:55 is the off time. And your favorite is number 2, Explicit Content, at 5-2. Number 7 at 7-2, that's Rugaroon. It is 4-1, Tambourine Man. 4-1, Electric Fields. And then it's 5-1 about Gravity. 8-1 about numbers 3 and 5. So it is quite a compact market here. Graham, race number 2, these horses tend to meet one another sort of every second week. But what's your thoughts here?
Yeah, every time there's a Cape D stakes over 1,000 meters, or in this case 1,100 meters, these same names seem to appear, and they beat each other on a regular basis. Just interestingly, this is Lunga Gila's last race meeting in the Western Cape before he returns to Fairview Racecourse in Kaberga. And I'm sure you'd like to get on the board, but I think the value here lies with number 4, Electric Fields. I say that because certainly will give you a good run for your money. And Pumi and Joker rides the 5-year-old mare by William Longsword well. She's holding form at around 4-1. There's even some 9-2 and often with only 53 on the back. I think the value probably lies with number 4, Electric Fields. But one cannot get carried away in a race like this. As we said earlier, they beat each other on a regular basis. Explicit Content is entitled to be favourite. Gravity comes in with a bit of a chance. Tambourine Man. I could go on and on and on. It's the opening leg of the bipod. You can't nail your colours to the mast. There isn't a result here that would surprise me. Even the long shot in the race, number 5, Try Me, ran on quite nicely over 1,000 metres in the same race as the others last time out. The extra 100 metres would certainly be in her favour. So I even give the rank outside of the small 7-horse party a chance. So it's that wide open. I think you need to go a little wider in the bipod. The place Accumulator is my chosen bet for the day, but if you're looking for a value bet in the race, I would think that number 4, Electric Field, sets a standard.
Yeah, 4-1 the price. Pumim Joker rides here, and this horse is in good form, and let's see if she can get the job done. Moving along to race number 3 now. This will be the start of the place accumulator. 1,400 meters the distance. Maiden plate for fillies and mares. Number 4, Alex Miller, 22-10. 28-10 into 5-2 about number 3, White Waters. Spin My Angel Spin at 4-1. It's 9-2 Tap Shoes. It's 8-1. and better ball those. Now, last time out, this filly Spin My Angel Spin, she was the subject of a lot of betting support, 7-2 into 2-1, and she just didn't really seem to have much to offer when put under pressure. But I think stepping up in distance will suit this filly quite nicely, and Corneoffer is back in the irons.
We have to respect the fact that she was back last time. Certainly the evidence of that form, she's got a bit of a mountain to climb in this race, but it would be foolish to dismiss her chances. She's only had the 2 starts. She jumps out of pole position, and she's clearly showing good work back at home for them to have backed her in from 7-2 to 2-1 on the 5th of November. Here we are a month later. She could have progressed since then. So clearly, number 1, Spin My Angel Spin, has got to come into the reckoning. But I do make it a match between numbers 3, Whitewater, and 4, Alex Miller. I've been following Alex Miller throughout her career because she caught my eye in the parade ring, and I think she's got a lot more to offer. She is starting to come to hand slowly, but perhaps not as quickly as I thought initially she might do. White Waters is a long-time maiden, but she won't get much of an easier opportunity to win than here. Good second 3 runs back to my only weakness, who's continued to hold her form well. On the Garden of Eden form, there's not much to choose between White Waters and Alex Miller, and Alex Miller might be the more progressive. Hence, number 4, Alex Miller, is my top choice, narrowly ahead of number 3, White Waters. Those are the 2 that I've gone with in the opening leg of the Place Accumulator. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Spin My Angel Spin run a much better race. Tap Shoes is the full sister to Zapatilis, also lightly raced. Needs to step up on her form, but the Richard Ferree, Justin Snaith combination always warrants respect. So Tap Shoes, I'm sure they're hoping for a lot of improvement. Blinkers go on, number 7, Blind Ambition, for the first time. Wasn't a bad effort behind December Dawn. Could do better over the 1400. So this race may be a little more open than it first appears, but I'm going to go with the form book. I'm going to go with number 4, Alex Miller, to turn the tables at number 3, White Waters. But all those that we've mentioned have a chance in what is quite a competitive maiden plate.
Yeah, certainly is, and it's a race that could produce a couple of winners going forward. Moving along to race number 4, over 1600 meters, 2 is the off time. And number 7, Native Ruler, is your favorite here. We'll call it 9-10, 4-1. About number 11, Gran Canaria, it's 4-1. A Freak, it's then 10-1, and better ball those. Now, number 7, Native Ruler, his last 2 starts have certainly caught the eye. Went second and then second. And Graham, this son of Vercingetorix, the distance will suit him ideally, and he could well be a hard horse to beat.
Going to be hard to beat. Lots of boxes he ticks. When I first looked at the race, I thought, well, he has a standout banker in the first leg of the pick 6. He, of course, has useful backup, does Justin Snaith, in the form of number 11, Gran Canaria. Caught the eye when a close 4th behind King Viserys on debut. But I think Native Ruler offers perhaps a little more. Is perhaps a little more experienced than Gran Canaria. Has got to come out of a wide gate. So of the 2 Snaith horses, I would certainly be in the camp of number 7, Native Ruler. I think the anti-post market is just about right. Native Ruler is a clear first choice as far as the market is concerned. But I do have quite a lot of respect for Brett Crawford's runner, number 2, A Freak. He's not done badly in his 3 starts. Last time out at Durbanville, he was drawn 12 out of 13 when running second to Nali. Now, there has been at least a couple of winners directly or indirectly out of that form line. This time he's drawn in gate 2. He's going about his business the right way. He's a half-brother to Sachdev, who once upon a Sunday ran second in the Derby. So he's got a pedigree to boot. So initially, as I said to you, Rahil, I thought, well, Native Ruler, standout banker in the pick 6, but I'm not going to play that way. I'm going to suggest that Native Ruler is the pick of the Snaith pair, but I'm certainly not going to leave out number 2, A Freak. So I'm going to back up number 7, Native Ruler, with number 2, A Freak, if only for the fact that number 2, A Freak, has already proven he goes the 1600 meters. He did so when second from a bad draw last time out. We're expecting Native Ruler to be better over this trip, but he is out of a Captain L mare. He goes up to 1600 meters for the first time, so he still has to answer that question. I think you and I both agree he will get the 1600 meters. We're again on the winter course for all the midweek meetings, as you mentioned in the opening shot when we started out on air. It is the winter course. Native Ruler, clearly the one to beat, but I don't think you can completely ignore A Freak.
Yeah, number 2, Afrique, the backup here at 4-1 in the market, and it will certainly be a nice result for the pick six if the 2 has to come through and win. Race number 5, 1800 meters, Hollywoodbets Class 5, 2:45 is the off time. This is the start of Jackpot 1. Favorite number 5, To the Moon and Back at 14-10. He's already found a bit of early support. It's 7-2 Ozark, 11-2 State Capital, 7-1 about Nali, 7-1 Mohandas, 10-1 and better ball those. Now, Graham, this horse, To the Moon and Back, he's been a model of consistency at his last 3 outings, and he ran second to Groove Jet, who looks to be quite a progressive sort and a horse that's going about his business in the right manner. And with Grant Van Niekerk in the irons, I think this horse is going to take a power of beating. It is a bit of a step down in class as well.
Well, certainly number 5, To the Moon and Back, presents himself as a very strong candidate. If you go back a couple of runs, when he ran 5th behind Ozark, who's one of the leading lights in this race, again with Richard Fourie up from pole position, you see there that To the Moon and Back carried 60.5, ran 5th, 2 1/4 lengths behind Ozark, who only carried 55. Well, there's a huge weight swing around in favour of number 5, To the Moon and Back. And I think many will probably pin their hopes entirely on number 5, To the Moon and Back. You can do worse than in a race like this, try and banker him and get away with it. I'm going to throw in number 1, Ozark, because I respect the fact that Richard Fourie gets on well with him, but at the weights he's got very little chance of beating number 5, To the Moon and Back. And in addition to that, Ozark has yet to perform to his highest level beyond 1600 meters. If you go in his recent runs over 2,000 and 1,800, and this is an 1,800-meter contest, he hasn't quite finished off the race. So I do definitely prefer number 5, To the Moon and Back, and he could well be one of the better bets on the card. You can take your chances. We're always hesitant to label a horse in Class 5 company, and generally that is sound policy. But the exception here could be number 5, To the Moon and Back. He looks cherry ripe. Grant Van Niekerk is a bit of a jockey strike as well. He has ridden the horse before without any form of success, but now that To the Moon and Back has found his form, the combination of Des McLaughlin, Grant Van Niekerk and To the Moon and Back could get into the winner's enclosure. As I mentioned, I do have respect for Ozark. It's going to be interesting to see how Afrique goes in the prior race. That might well enhance the chances of number 4, Nali. On overall form, you might suggest he's got a bit to find, but he is a 3-year-old. He's got a lot of scope for improvement. It's taken a lot of time for the penny to drop, but he's a staying type of One World, and the Vaughan Marshall stable just continues to tick along so nicely that, it's hard to ignore his runners that come into any race with a bit of form. Number 10, Mohandas, as we've said, Lunga Gila is having his swan song at Kenilworth on Wednesday, and he would love to go in with the winner. So Mohandas could make his impression felt, but To the Moon and Back, maybe we need to row in quite strongly with that.
Race 5, number 5, To the Moon and Back. Race number 6, Cape D Stakes over 1400 meters, 18 minutes past 3 is the off time. It is the start of Jackpot 2. Joint favourites here, we've got number 5, Veronique, and number 9, Hang Out the Stars, both at 7-2. Dream Searcher, 5-1 into 4-1, 11-2, and Al the Boss, it's then 7-1, and better bar those. Now, this is a very tricky race where I think you're going to need a number of horses just to get through this leg. But Graham, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, look, if there's going to be, we've been through the first 5 races. We're not really looking for any train smashes over the early part of the card. This race does set up for that potential. There could be a train smash result here. My top choice would be number 3, Dream Searcher. I think has cracked a nice draw, holding form well enough. The Adam Marcus stable is in good enough form, well weighted with just 54 on its back. So for me, Dream Searcher kind of sets a standard, but I say that without any degree of confidence whatsoever. Veronique can fly to Rio. They make regular appearances in these kind of races for the Greg Enion stable, and either could win a race like this. I think Nile the Boss is going to go well. Nile the Boss has done enough recently to suggest that she could have a bright chance in a race of this nature, so she goes into the play for me. Hang Out the Stars is the obvious one on recent consistent form, but it's been 581 days since she last won a race, her only race that she's ever won in her career. But in this sort of low-grade heat. Certainly number 9, Hang Out the Stars. Craig Zaki rides her again. He's only ridden her twice. He's ridden her 5 times in the past, but twice more recently, and got into the money on both occasions. So Hang Out the Stars might end up, might end a bit of a dry spell for the Mike Stewart stable. So this race is up for grabs, as anyone will tell you. In order of preference, I'd go numbers 3, Dream Searcher, 6, Nile the Boss, and 9, Hang Out the Stars. But Greg Inion is always a live wire in these kind of races, and he's well represented with Veronique and Fly to Rio.
You're definitely one that can pop up at a bit of a price, and at 8 to 1 in the market, she's probably worth an inclusion. Race number 7, next up, this is a class 4 for fillies and mares over 1400 meters. 15:55 is the off time. Number 5, Miraculous, tops the boards at 15 to 10. Number 1, Sweatek is at 18 to 10. Yo Lekker Ding 11 to 2, and then it is 7 to 1 and Better Bar those. Now this filly Sweatek was a winner on debut, and at 125 to 1 in the market, winning for Justin Snake, she certainly went under the radar when beating Miraculous, and she produced a very good finish. That form line has worked out very, very nicely. But Graham, I think this filly Miraculous will turn the form around with her, and I'd like to see number 1 confirm a debut win.
Very interesting rematch between number 1, Swiatek, and number 5, Miraculous. Miraculous is a half a kilogram better off for that neck beating on the 8th of October. As you say, Miraculous then came out subsequently to win a maiden, beating Englefield Green quite comfortably. She's highly regarded as Miraculous. She's progressive, but as you've mentioned, Swiatek gets pole position. Richard Faree takes over from Craig Bantam, and Swiatek was carded to run the other day, fell victim to TCO2 test, if my memory serves me correctly. But it should make up for a very interesting contest between Swiatek and Miraculous. As you say, Swiatek has got to confirm that form she showed on debut, but we can only work with what we see, and there's nothing to choose on form between her and number 5, Miraculous. So those are clearly the top 2 choices. I'm not going to try and split them, because Swiatek may well be the real deal. We know that Miraculous is highly regarded, so this is a very interesting rematch between the 2. Number 2, Yo Lekker Ding, gets blinkers for the first time. She may run better from a nice draw, and Family Power has found some form, but I feel that she might be up against it, but certainly should get into the mixed Family Power. So for me, it's a toss-up between 1, Swiatek, and 5, Miraculous. The next 2 obvious choices are 2, Yo Lekker Ding, and 9, Family Power. But it could end up being a toss-up between Miraculous and Swiatek, and I think it's going to be a very interesting race.
Race number 7 could well be a 2-horse race between the 1 and the 5, but I like number 5 here, Miraculous, and let's see if she can reverse the form. Race number 8, this is the Cape B Stakes over 1,000 meters. 4:30 is the off time. And number 9, Tenango, as well as number 3, Lohamba Pambili, are both at 2 to 1. Icy Blast at 5 to 1, 7 to 1, All About Al, it's then 8 to 1, and Better Ball those. Now, Graham, these 2 horses here at the top of betting boards, they must have big chances, and we know that Lohamba Pambili, he beat Roman Agent last time out, and the form was franked with Lion Rampart coming through to win from that form line, and this horse Tenango won. Yeah, the manner in which this horse won last time out was so impressive, and only going up 6 points for that. But the horse that I like in the race is number 2, Icy Blast. He's back into what could be called a handicap again. He's down in class on a mark of 94. Richard in the irons. He's a winner over Track and Trip. I know he doesn't have confidence on his side, whereas numbers 3 and 9 do, but I like his chances.
I think this may be a bit more tricky than it first appears. Certainly you can't draw a line through number 2, Icy Blast. Richard Faree takes the ride for Vaughan Marshall. He's not been at his absolute best in recent runs, but he's never too far off the action. As you say, short in confidence. He hasn't won for 662 days, but he is plummeting down the ratings from a 101. He's now down to 94. He shares top weight, 61.5, with number 3, Luamba Pambili, who's shown terrific potential. But Luamba Pambili is a rather inexperienced 3-year-old, one can say that, with only 4 runs under the belt, but his victory in the Need for Speed Sprint was very impressive. As you say, led throughout. He's going to be helped if the weather forecast is right, with a slight tailwind at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. on Wednesday. A northwester is forecast. That will help his chances. It's never easy for a 3-year-old with not too many runs under the belt to shoulder that big weight and come out on top, but he might be that special. It's interesting that he's so quick because his pedigree suggests he'd won further, but that's certainly not the case at the moment. We were all over Tenango when he reappeared on the 9th of November. I was very confident about his chances on the show. He was 7 and 8 to 1 when I labelled him as one of the bets of the day. He did shorten in the market to 4 to 1. He trotted up by 3.5 lengths over his escarpment. I believe he's had a wind operation, so hopefully he continues to hold his form, because if he does, he's going to be very, very competitive. But there are 1 or 2 others, or 54 kilograms, all about L is a model of consistency. He's not getting any younger. He's a 7-year-old. And in terms of the conditions of these types of races, number 8, Pork de Vas, is quite well handicapped here and could suddenly improve. If you go back a few runs, she ran second to Mojo Man, and shows he's waited to finish ahead of number 7, Mojo Man, who's stable companion to number 2, Icy Blast. I think that Pork de Vas possibly didn't enjoy racing at Hollywoodbets Durbanville. That's where her last 3 runs were. We can expect a little bit better down the straight at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. It's an interesting clash. I'm going to give number 3, Luamba Pambili, the benefit of the doubt, but he's going to have to be at his absolute best to hold off the cavalry charge. 9, Tenango, and 2, Icy Blast. They all warrant respect, along with 5, All About L, and 8, Pork de Vas. But maybe Luamba Pambili is something special.
Yeah, he's a 3-year-old that's improving quite nicely, and he could be up to the task at hand with that big weight. Race number 9, final race on the day, a Class 5 for fillies and mares over 1,200 meters. 5:05 is the off time, and number 7, Royal Rhythm, is your favorite. Even money here, 6 to 1, easy money. 6 to 1 about number 4, Vivo Peller. It is 6 to 1, Grew Off Ice, and then it is 12 to 1. And better ball those. Now Royal Rhythm, she just found 1 too good last time out behind December Dawn. She's holding form nicely, but Graham, in a Class 5 for fillies and mares over 1,200 meters, these races can produce a bit of a result. I'm not sure I'd be rushing to take even money about this horse.
Raheel, I never thought I'd wake up to the day that I saw Royal Rhythm even money favorite for any race. She's certainly got the form, but like you, I certainly wouldn't be rushing in to grab the even money. There's a lot of talk here for number 4, Vivo Perlay. The whispers have been going around the town. The money has started to come. She's only had 3 rather uninspiring starts. I guess you could say the run behind Back of the George wasn't too bad at level weights. But she's clearly an improver. Grant van Niekerk rides, and maybe she's been set up for this race. She's had her 3 starts. She comes into Class 5, and as I said, all I can tell you, the form book doesn't suggest she's a likely winner. But there's a lot of talk and some solid anti-post market support for number 4, Vivo Perlay. This race, as you said, if Royal Rhythm fluffs her lines, we could be in for a huge result. Becky Sharp, forget that last run, of course, when she refused to gallop. I've always felt she's had a little more to offer, and she could come out fresh and run well here. Grew of Ice, this is absolutely, being the last race in the card, absolutely Lunga Gila's last chance to win on his final day in the Western Cape, and he's come with a couple of runners here. Number 2, Jet Green, number 5, Grew of Ice, the number 6, United We Stand. Grew of Ice is possibly on form, the one that he fancies most. But I quite like a little bit of number 6, United We Stand, to perhaps cause the massive upset in this race. Still a maiden after 27 starts, but this is the kind of race she could be competitive. She carries 52.5 for the services of Gareth Wright, so getting a lot of weight from Royal Rhythm. So Royal Rhythm has it all to prove as a short-priced favourite. She does bring the best form into the race. The whispers are for number 4, Vivo Perlay. I think that for 6, United We Stand might offer some nice each-way value at a big price. Again, one cannot rule out the potential for a huge upset in this type of Class 5 fillies and mares handicap over 1,200 meters.
Yeah, it's all up to you how you're going to play race number 9. Whether you're going to be willing to take even money about number 7, Royal Rhythm, or you're going to look elsewhere, and there's quite a bit of value to be had, especially with the 4-horse Vivo Pillar at 6-1. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Graham will take us through suggested bet. A place accumulator, which will begin with the run-in of race number 3, and the third race on the program is set to get underway at 1:30. So Graham, take it away.
Thank you, Rahil. First leg going numbers 3, White Waters, and 4, Alex Miller. The next leg numbers 2, Afrique, and 7, Native Ruler. I wouldn't put you off if you wanted to bank a number 7, Native Ruler, as far as the place accumulator is concerned, but the pick 6 I would certainly include number 2, Afrique. Third leg numbers 1, Ozark, and 5, To the Moon and Back. Here again, if you want to trim the perm, as we discussed earlier, number 5, To the Moon and Back, might well shape up as a place accumulator banker. 3, 6, and 9, Dream Searcher, Nile the Boss, and Hang Out the Stars in the next leg. Then 1, Swire Tech, and 5, Miraculous in the fifth leg. Should be a good race between those two, and I'm looking forward to that. Going wide in the sprint, Luhamba Pambili has it all to do under 61.5 as a lightly raced 3-year-old. 3, Luhamba Pambili, 5, All About L, 8, Pork Devas, and 9, Tanango. If you want to add in Rahil's fancy number 2, Icy Blast, I wouldn't put you off that either. Last leg, just in case. Many will bank a number 7, Royal Rhythm, as far as the place accumulator is concerned, but just in case we get that train smash result, I'm going to throw in number 6, United We Stand, who I think offers some each-way value. Bit of a lunatic selection, but these kind of races do throw up lunatic results from time to time, and with just 52.5 on her back, I think we could see the best of United We Stand before she heads off to Fairview Racetrack. So that's my suggested place accumulator for this race meeting at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on the winter course, Wednesday the 4th of December.
That is it. 9 races on the program to look forward to, and hopefully all goes well. Graham, thanks very much for your time. Looking forward to the card on Tuesday, and of course it is the Cape Phillies Guineas on Saturday.
Yes, it is the first Grade 1 Classic of the current Cape Summer season, and field of 13 to line up. They look pretty evenly matched. It's going to be a great race.
It certainly will be. All the best with racing on Wednesday out at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth.